Dave Anderson here with the Fisherman magazine. It's May 29th. These are your headlines. We've got word of the first true giant striped bass this week. We've got the details on that. Also, first bonito have been caught out at the vineyard. And bottom fishing's been really good. We've seen great sea bass fishing out in Nantucket Sound, and the fluking is really picking up around Block Island. Stay tuned for all that and more on this week's New England Fishing Forecast.
The ultimate fishing authority in the Northeast, the Fisherman magazine.
No guessing, just catching. New Explore Series fish finders keep you locked on fish with unbeatable clarity, best-in-class imaging options, and a stunning ultra-bright HD screen. There's more to explore, only with Humminbird.
Before we begin, we got a few news items for you guys. First one is Fishing for the Mission 22's Sea Bass Tournament, which they have annually. I think this is the third one. And this is a charitable event that goes out to an incredibly great cause. The 22 in Mission 22 stands for the 22 veterans that commit suicide every day in the United States, which is a staggering number. It just blows my mind every time I think about it. So this organization, they try to promote mental health through fishing, and they also put all the proceeds, all these events that they have, they put all the proceeds behind charities that help veterans find mental health help. So I mean, how could you go wrong with that? There are multiple tiers for entering this thing. They go between $15 and $100 depending on your age or the tier of commitment that you want to make. They're giving away up to $32,000 in prizes. There are 22 specially tagged sea bass that have been released into Buzzards Bay. Each one of those is worth $1,000, and then there's first, second, and third place prizes for youth and adult, and there are a few other ways to win as well. You're gonna have to check out fishingforthemission22.org to get all the details. The only thing is, this event starts tomorrow, so that's May 30th, and it runs through the end of June 1st. It's out in Buzzards Bay. You can get all the details off their website, but I always want to sort of plug these guys and make sure people are aware of the tournament, because I think it's an awesome cause, and I know that it's a great time as well. Last year was a rousing success, and I think they're trying to build on that this year. So head over to their website, check them out, and hey, maybe get involved and maybe win something great at the same time. Next thing is the latest installment of Jenni Ackerman's Open Boat. This is her 100th episode, if you can believe that. So just want to congratulate Jenni on the C note. And without further ado, here's number 100.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Open Boat. Today is a landmark episode. It is the 100th episode of Open Boat. I'm so happy we made it here. We did it, the 100th episode. I've been doing it every single week except for last week, but that's because I did the video fishing forecast. So you still saw me on your TV, but it has been a blast so far. From sharing fishing stories to talking to you guys at the shows or through our fishing challenges to coming fishing with me, listening in on a seminar that I did, or just learning something new. It's been great. And tomorrow, May 30th, is actually my 2 years with the Fisherman magazine. So I want to thank all you guys for your endless support through the videos and talking to me at the shows, giving me great support with my articles that I write. I appreciate you guys all so very much. And I just wanted to put some clips together from Open Boat episode 1 up to where we're at right now, and we're gonna have more great open boats to come. Hopefully next week I got a little field trip for you guys, weather permitting. That's always the biggest thing, weather permitting, because there's so much stuff I want to do, but unfortunately the weather sometimes doesn't cooperate. But this summer I'm looking forward to a lot of great open boats. And remember guys, Super Flukers Challenge, you got to catch a big fish on a bucktail and send it to me, but we have 3 more parts of the challenge to come, and you have all the way through till fluke season is over. So send me your pictures. You have my email. You know what's up. I want to see those submissions. And we're gonna wrap it up when fluke season's over, and we're gonna do a winter circle episode. But once again, thank you guys for the endless support. Be sure to drop a comment for the 100th episode. So I know you guys are still here watching, and let's roll some clips. Hey guys, welcome to the first ever episode of Open Boat with me and Jenni. And today we're gonna go sea bass fishing. So come along with me and let's catch them up.
Hello, my name is Tommy. I want to catch a fish, yes, big.
Nothing beats a topwater bite, especially for bluefish of this size. I had a ton chase this, and I'm gonna quickly release this one to get right back into the action.
Yep, bring him right. He's
He's a little, there yeah! He is. Yeah! That's a nice one. Oh my gosh. So this has been a ton of fun. You owe me $1. You owe me $1. You owe me $1. Fork it over. This is cool. This is like a lot of people, so thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. And this is the first time I'm doing this seminar, which is cool because it goes back to my roots.
Jenni's first ice fish in a long time.
There we go, since high school. I'm old now, that's a long time. Oh my God, let's
That's
go.
awesome.
Once again, guys, thank you. I can't even describe the gratitude I have for such a great fan base and such nice people, you know, like you're all very supportive, and I appreciate like meeting you whether I'm out fishing or at the shows and stuff like that and hearing your kind words. So I appreciate all you guys, and I will catch you on next week's Open Boat.
It was a slower week in the Coastal Kayak Clash, but we had some really nice fish hit the board. There was a battle at top of the striped bass category. Tom Howard struck first with a 42.5-incher. Newcomer Mario Santos bested him a day later with a 43-inch fish. Al Green came in to take over the sea bass lead with a 19.75-inch knothead. The top three now look like this. David Doe and Tom Howard are in a virtual tie for second place with 4 points, and Justin Oser holds on to the lead with 6 points. Hey kayakers, the Fisherman's Coastal Kayak Clash contest is back. Win this fully outfitted Hobie Mirage Lynx kayak from Yak Attack along with other great prizes. Catch and release as many of these species to be top on the leaderboard. To enter, you must be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, fish from a kayak, and document your catch. Many chances to win great prizes, so get out there on the water now and fish hard. To be part of the action, you must be a subscriber and register at thefisherman.com. Here's the latest from the Dreamboat Fishing Challenge. First, we have Long Island subscriber Mark of Southampton, Long Island with a 2.2 porgy weighed in at East End Bait and Tackle, placing Mark 5th in the porgy category. We have from Warwick, Rhode Island, New England subscriber Gregory Brennan weighing in his 2.36 porgy at Quaker Lane Bait and Tackle, landing him 4th in the porgy class. New Jersey subscriber Michael of Brick, New Jersey with the first fluke in the contest, weighed in at Gabriel Tackle at 7.9 pounds. Another entry from East End Bait and Tackle was from Fred Liederman, Long Island subscriber from Hampton Bays with a sea robin of 2.9 pounds, seating him 4th in the sea robin category. The leaderboard now stands like this. Taking first place is Michael McGigan. Placing second is Sean Brownyard. And third is Thomas Luciano. Are you the best angler in the Northeast? Well, now is your chance to prove it. The Fisherman's Dreamboat Contest is back. Win this Steigercraft center console powered by Yamaha along with these other great prizes. Fish hard and weigh in as many of these species to be top on the leaderboard. What's the catch? You must be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine. All it takes is one fish on the board to win a great prize, so however you fish, you have a shot. For all the details and official rules, visit thefisherman.com.
Last thing, of course, is the giveaway, and this wraps up our sort of winter into spring segment. And you know, I think we have a really cool photo here. This is Albert Caban. I think I'm saying his last name right. And he sends in photos all the time. And this guy is a devoted party boat fisherman. And I thought that was a cool segment of our readership and of the, you know, recreational fishing world to highlight. You know, I feel like so many of these photos highlight a certain segment of the fishing community. You know, surf fishermen and guys that, you know, have their own boats. And I thought it was really important to highlight the fact that, you know, there are hardcore guys that put in tons of time on party boats, and party boats are a important, you know, sort of vehicle for anglers around the region. You know, they give us all the opportunity to get in on these awesome fisheries and to do it in sort of a community or from like a community standpoint. So, you know, it's almost like a party atmosphere. That's why they call it a party boat, right? And so here's Albert with a really nice weak fish that he caught aboard the Sunbeam fleet, but he's doing party boat trips out in Buzzards Bay. He's doing party boat trips all over southern New England. And so I wanted to highlight him because of his devotion to that type of fishing, and also for taking a great photo that exemplifies the sort of the joy that people experience on party boats. So congratulations to him. He's going to get the Surf Howdy. He's going to get the fillet knife from Dexter. And he's going to get my, you know, my deepest congrats on just putting in his time and catching some great fish. Now we're going to start another one, and this one has a little bit of sentimental value to me. I'm going to run this one through the end of August, so the last Wednesday in August. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, so you just have to check your phone or look at the calendar on your wall to nail that down. But if you read the June edition and you read my editor's log, then you know that I lost a dear friend just this past month. And his name was Don Robertson. I think he was 80 or 81 when he passed away. But he was integral in my growth as a surf fisherman, and also in my sort of understanding that you're better off not taking life too seriously. Don was somebody who seemed to find joy in everything. He was a savage practical joker. I got stories that I could fill this whole video with about Don. But he was also one of the best fishermen you're ever going to find when it comes to fishing a popping plug. This guy was like a savant. I don't know how he did it. If there was a fish near the surface, he was going to catch it with his Super Strike popper. And another thing he was a big believer in the color flame orange, like a road cone color. And many years ago, he found a bunch of Super Strike poppers in this flame orange color. And they were on clearance. He got them for like $6 a piece. He bought the whole peg. I think it was out in the vineyard somewhere. And it took him several years to go through them all, but he finally lost his last one, and that plug accounted for his biggest striped bass ever at the time. He had caught a bigger one a couple years ago, which was actually a very impressive fish. Fish was probably pushing 50 pounds. But this one was a 47-inch fish, was probably getting close to 40 pounds. And he lost it. He lost the last of those plugs. So I called Steve Musso probably like 15, 20 years ago and had him make a half dozen. I kept one, but I gave the other 5 to Don, and he was thrilled. Then he started modifying a blue over white Super Strike popper, and he'd paint the belly of it flame orange. So I called Steve again. I had him make me a bright orange one and a blue over white with a bright orange belly in honor of Don. And I'm going to give a set of these away to the winner at the end of the summer. So this is our summer session. I know Super Strike plugs tend to, create some hysteria. So I'm hoping that will happen here. We'll get a lot of great photos. And, really I just wanted to honor Don. He was a really special guy, a really great guy, and a really great fisherman. And I know he'd be thrilled to know that, that we were giving these away and that guys were, maybe going to fish, plugs that were made in his honor. So get those photos into me at danderson@thefisherman.com or text them to the number on the screen, and you guys know the rest of the drill. It's got to be recently caught. It's got to show you holding your fish, and I got to get the pertinent details like your name, roughly where the fish was caught, how big it was, how you caught it, all that stuff. Send them in, and we'll see who wins. Moving over into the reports now, starting things up in Maine. Striped bass fishing is firing on all cylinders now. It's very river heavy right now. So, get up in the Saco, get up in the Musam, put the kayak in, get out there in your boat, or find a nice little choke point and fish from the shore. Seen a lot of nice fish though. A lot of fish in the 40-inch class. Lots and lots of fish in that 30 to like 38-inch class. And the bite has really been very strong, and that's pretty much all I'm hearing from up there. It's just guys that are fired up about the striped bass fishing. Moving down over the border now, let's check in with Kevin Huang from Surfland Bait and Tackle.
Hey guys, Kevin from Surfland Bait and Tackle checking in with the weekly report. Fishing in general has been really well. Every single type of species is hitting right now, from freshwater to saltwater. Freshwater, the bass are hitting. Some spots are pre-spawning, some spots are getting into spawn depending on water temperature. You have northern pike on feed mode. There will be a picture of a northern pike caught by Mike. He's an animal. He's a Merrimack River fisherman. Like, he catches like all the freshwater species over there, and I'm always posting him. Others upriver, striped bass. I mean, the guys are just killing fish like non-stop. Plenty of fish to be caught upriver. In the mouth at Plum Island, it's been a little hit or miss because the fish would stage up at the mouth and then disappear, head upriver, and then people are like chasing them. But there hasn't been that much bait around like the mouth of the Merrimack. Like south of us I heard of bait, but around us not much. The boat guys been catching flounder. It's been flounder caught on the boat from shore, not much from the Merrimack River area, but South Gloucester, Beverly, that area, people are catching some flounder. But striper fishing, the secret, man, is you just gotta go. I mean, right now they're on the move, so there's like not much patterns to pick up yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Fishing is just getting better and better day by day. Once some of these fish that are following the bait upriver, once they dump back out and then stage up, you'll figure out some patterns, and then that's when Joppa Flats turns on like big time. That's when like all the boat guys, kayak guys, surf casters, everyone will be hitting Joppa Flat pretty hard, and that's coming up, you know, once all the bait pretty much funnels back out and all the bass fall out and then station up. So striped bass fishing, freshwater fishing, carp, pike, doesn't matter. Get out there and go fishing. See you guys next week.
Now let's drop down into the Boston area and check in with Danny Parma from Fish Bucket Sport Fishing.
Thanks, Dave. Dan checking in with this week's report. Boston's getting better and better. There's plenty of bait in the area. Small pods of pogies moving around throughout the harbor. And bass are on them. You know, everywhere from 24 inches to, you know, close to 40 inches. There's bass pretty much everywhere, picking away at the pogies. The pogies are all really, really big, so if you're out fishing soft plastics, make sure you're using the biggest you can. Primarily, we were getting them on the live bait and the dirty water mojos. The 16-ounce, 8-ounce tandem rigs with the 9-inch white pearl shad. We did have a chartreuse set out there, and they didn't want nothing to do with it. They were keyed in on the white pearl. Yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Make sure you're supporting your tackle shops. Stop into the tackle shops, see what's new, see what they got. You know, there's some new gear coming out. There's some new plugs, new lures. You need it, right? We all need it. Make sure you go out and you support those guys. And stay safe. I'll catch you on the next one.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing: that nothing says no to fish bites.
Now let's get an inland report from Roy Leyva. Here he is.
Hey Dave, what's going on? I hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. Checking in from Western Mass. Sorry about the traffic behind me. Yeah, fishing continues to be good. The only problem is we have a lot of high water. If you're planning to fish the rivers, they're ripping, but there is plenty of fish, plenty of striped bass, still a lot of shad in the Connecticut River. All your usuals, bass, smallies are on their spawn. Largemouth are done. Everything else is pretty much done and kind of getting into that summer lull. And then Wachusett and Quabbin continue to be really good. Only thing is you're going to have to go a little bit deeper for those Lakers now, as the water is warming up. So I know this week they had a big carp tournament. I think it was Carp Max that put it on. I didn't participate, but I believe the top 10 fish were all over 30 pounds, with the biggest one over 40. That's a big carp. That's a big fish in freshwater. So yeah, plenty of fish out here in Western Mass to get at. A lot of stripers still coming up the river. A lot of shad still coming up the river. So have at it. Catch you guys next week. Peace.
Now we'll drop down to the south shore of Boston, and still flounder fishing going on in places like Quincy Bay. Seems to be going pretty good. It's not crazy, but guys are getting keepers. Guys are having a good time doing that. Bass fishing along that stretch has been very, very good. There's pogies moving in now. We've seen fish up into the high 40-inch class. I've seen some surf guys getting in on it with metal lips. We've seen guys doing some damage with flutter spoons and mojos and all that stuff. Very, very good striped bass fishing along that area. And I also forgot to mention when I was talking about the flounder that there's been a few tog off of the tips of some of the jetties and some of the other rocky spots out there. So you got good fishing for a variety of species along that stretch of shoreline. Crossing the canal, out onto the Cape from like Scorton Creek out to Barnstable Harbor, and then beyond from there, everyone's talking about the striped bass fishing. Barnstable Harbor has kind of been the epicenter. We've seen a lot of nice fish coming out of there in the like 18 to 35 pound class. Surf guys are getting in on it, kayak guys are getting in on it, and the boaters, of course, are getting in on it as well. A lot of bait in the area. There's some pogies, there's some mackerel, and the bite has been very strong. The night bite's been very good, so that's a good place to look. And then as you head out from there, you know, you're kind of heading all the way out past Eastham. There's pockets of fish all along there as well. Seem to be, some of the rockier spots seem to be holding more fish than some of the others. But overall, the bite along that stretch has been very good. Still hearing about some flounder out in the Sassuat area. And then I finally got my first outer beach reports. Sounds like the fish are scattered, but these are sort of concentrations of fish that are scattered. So when you find them, you might get 2, 3, 4, 5 fish. A lot of sand eels out there too, which is only going to make things better as more fish make the turn and head out onto the outer beaches. So definitely a place you want to be keeping an eye on right now. As we move down into Nantucket Sound, the sea bass fishing has been exceptional. We're hearing about really, really good fishing. Limits have been fairly easy to come by. And let's check in now with Phil from the Goose Hummock. He's out on the water right now and has a report for us.
Anyway, so we went sea bassing in the Sound. We did 18-man limit in 2 hours dead. And we chucked back everything under 17.5 inches. Alright, so the flounder fishing is epic out here, okay?
Sea bass.
Sea bass, that's the flounder. But sea bass! It's been a long day, right? The only thing we haven't been able to do is grill it. Alright, why can't we do that?
I don't know.
Oh, because the barbecue getting screwed up.
Now we're settled for chips.
Now we're eating chips.
Come on, big dog.
Anyway, that's the report. The fishing's amazing. Get out there, have fun, it's gorgeous, alright?
And then heading further out toward the vineyard, actually got the first 2 reports of bonito of the year. One from shore, one from a boat. This may seem unusual, but it's really not that unusual. We get these early runs of fish every year. Bonito are not like a warm water species so much like the albies are. So we see early runs of these fish in the vineyard areas, sometimes in Falmouth, sometimes even in Rhode Island, sometimes at Block. But it's just going to be one of those things that just sort of slowly swells over the next month or two, and we'll start to see more and more of these fish showing up. So I thought that was really interesting. Also heard of a big striped bass taken from the surf at the Hampshire jetty on a bucktail. That fish was 48 inches, and really cool to see the surf guys cashing in out on the island. And speaking of big striped bass, there's been some really big stripers in and around the Elizabeth, especially on the Buzzards Bay side. These fish have been on bunker and then also chasing some squid around. The frustrating thing is that they're not staying in one place. So from one day to the next, they could be anywhere. And so that's made it frustrating for the guys that are out there doing it every day. But some of these fish are quite large, you know, up touching the 40-pound class. And a lot of nice fish in the school. And guys are doing it a bunch of different ways. Flutter spoons are getting it done, top waters like the dock and stuff like that. Obviously live lining pogies is getting it done, and many other methods as well, like big paddle tails and stuff like that. So some nice stripers around the Elizabeth. If you've got the time to hunt them down, you might catch a big one. There's plenty of sea bass activity in the eastern half of Buzzards Bay, which is perfect timing for the Mission 22 sea bass tournament going on this weekend, so don't forget about that. Check out fishingforthemission22.org if you want to get more details on the tournament. And then getting up toward the canal has not been as strong as I would have expected with the big tides we've had this week and the new moon, but there are fish going through, and there's still time. We still got good tides going into the weekend, so odds are pretty high that one of these days there'll be a big push of fish that goes through the ditch. And for a little bit more on that, let's check in now with East End Eddie.
Hi Dave, got a breaking tide behind me on a nice day in the canal. The canal's loaded with weed though from the storms, and all different kinds of seaweed, including that gunky stuff that is hard to get off your hook. So check your hooks every time after you reel in. The new moon is hopefully bringing in some new fish, and but last week, the middle of last week was the west tide was very productive toward the west end. Jay Saucier came down from Maine with his wife. He ended up catching a high-end slot, and Nikolai Gaykov caught some fish, including a 32-inch. Perry Kitko's caught more fish than anybody before anybody in that area, and then including two 35-inch fish. Carlos Reyes caught a 40-inch striper that brought the boga down to 25 pounds. And high hook went to Joe Green Gloves Monahan, a real humble class guy, legend on the canal. Green Gloves caught two 47-inch stripers and a 48-inch. And then after the tide turned east, John Sea Dog Schmidt landed a 33-inch with a surface plug. There weren't any fish breaking, so the fish that Sea Dog caught was already below and came up to grab his surface plug. But all those fish that I mentioned were caught with jigs because there weren't any breaks in the daylight. There were some at night, but they were all small fish at night. And so the lures that were the most effective last week were Green Fish Lab, Green Striper Gear Shaddy Daddy, and the Super Strike Green Mac Little Neck. And you know, I have a bad back and my exercises work good for it, but last week for some reason I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't figure out what I did differently. Then I realized I didn't fish for 2 days because of high wind and heavy rain. So the third day I went out and started casting. It made my back better immediately. So my tip of the week is fish as much as you can. It's good for your health. Until next time, catch a big one.
And then all the estuaries along Buzzards Bay, water temperatures actually dropped over the last week. We've had a lot of cloudy weather. We've had some pretty heavy rain, and those things combined together to drop the water temps as much as 7 degrees, depending on where you're fishing. I've been kind of poking around in a lot of these places with the kayak. I had seen temperatures as high as 67. This week I saw temperatures as low as 59. So that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. That's going to keep these fish inside the estuaries, going to keep those bites going. And no, I mean, why wouldn't you want that? There's been some really nice fish up in these estuaries, some of them going as big as 35 pounds. So keep your eye on the estuaries for at least another week. And that's what I have for you guys in Massachusetts. Crossing over into Rhode Island, we'll start things off with an East Bay report from TJ Kopecky.
Thanks, Dave. Hey guys, quick report here from the East Bay, and I hope everybody had a nice Memorial Day weekend. And I think what's kind of transitioned here in the East Bay is we've got a large amount of small fish that have actually come in. I've seen a huge difference in the size of stripers being caught up inside of the East Bay, Huang River, Barrington River, all along Cold State Park. A lot of 18 to 20-inch fish have moved in, really feeding on some small bait. And I think the small bait came in first, and then the small fish followed them. I really haven't seen the big pogie schools like we have up in the Taunton River. I got word that they were up in the Providence River, but Barrington Beach was actually pretty good. And I got a report from my friend John, who been fishing there at night, and he's done well on bass. But that was before the pogies had left. Last couple of days, he says, it's been really slow. The Barrington River has actually been pretty good. A little further up towards the White Church. So if you can fish on the White Church Bridge, there's more pogies and other baits that are really congregated way up inside of those estuaries. The Warren Bridge has been pretty good with the tog still. Behind the American Tourist, that's still a hot spot for Tautog. Maho Bridge, definitely a great spot for some scup and some tautog. Haven't heard of any sea bass inside of the bay yet. That's coming really soon though. I did have an outing this week, and I got to do a little fluke fishing in one of my favorite spots in Fort Adams off the docks, and it was a great outing because it was very productive. I caught a lot of small short fluke, but that's okay. I was pretty much just out there trying to see if there were any fish around, and there were. And I mean, my biggest fish was 16 inches, and I was hoping to get one of those 17 and a half so I could keep them, because there is a short provision in Fort Adams. You can keep 2 at 17 and a half, and the rest have to be the 19. But it was a good outing, a lot of fat sea robins in the mix, and I didn't get any scup. And usually I do get some scup when I'm using the gulp in there. But it was a good outing, and I think fish are a little finicky right now with the small bait up inside of the bay, and hopefully things change and we can get on that big striper bite again that was here. But that's all we got from the East Bay, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Tight lines.
Now, for the second week in a row, the big thing that everyone's talking about in Rhode Island is just the striped bass bite. We've seen another push of fish entering the bay. A lot of these fish are big. 45 to 49 inches has been what I've been hearing about, and it's been very good. These fish are on bunker schools, but they're not all on bunker schools. Some of them are just traveling into the bay. Guys are getting them on live eels. Guys are getting them on live bunker, flutter spoons, the dock, a lot of different methods. And if you can find these fish sort of around a ball of bait, you got a very good chance of catching them. So that's something to definitely keep your eyes peeled for. Now, speaking of big striped bass, we heard of a really big one this week, caught by Coral. This was a 57-pound beast. Wanted to congratulate her on catching an incredible fish, and we're also going to check in with her now. Here's Coral.
Hi Dave, Coral here from Sara Star Charters with the Rhode Island Fishing Report. This will be my first report of the season. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. There are a lot of activity going on. We've been catching bass. The start of April, there was that first push of bass that came into Narragansett Bay, a lot of schoolie-sized fish, slot fish. And now we've had another push of big fish come in. This seems to be like the second push of big fish, so there's definitely some big fish rolling into Rhode Island. I actually caught a 57-pounder on Memorial Day, so there's that big fish are pushing in and starting to make their way out front. Probably within the next week or so, they'll be sitting on the ledges out front of Newport. But right now, the bay bite has been really good. There's a lot of bait around. Pogies, a lot of people using pogies, live lining. You can also use those flutter spoons. There's a lot of guys using flutter spoons, to mimic those pogies that are in the bay. So pretty much anywhere you go in the bay, you usually find some kind of activity, whether you're marking fish, marking bait, or seeing bird activity. There's a lot of opportunity for a lot of fly guys to get out there. There's also some small baits in. I know that there's some sand eels around, so that's a great opportunity to get in using some small profile baits. The tautog bite has been pretty good. It's when it started off in April, it was a little slow, but things have really started to heat up. And although it's closing soon, at the end of this month, there's still opportunity to get in there, get some keeper taw before that season closes and reopens in the fall. So a lot of activity going on. The fluke bite, the inshore fluke bite has also been very good. So a lot of stuff happening. It's definitely status quo on what happens this time of year, and everything seems to be, in full swing. So very looking forward to the summer and to see what the season has in store.
At the edge of Long Island, where the ocean meets tradition, Montauk Anglers Club can be your boat's home and your gateway to legendary fishing. Whether you're a pro or just casting your first line, this is where memories are made. Join Montauk Anglers Club, where the catch of the day is just the beginning. Or go to montaukanglersclub.com for more information.
Now let's keep the field correspondent train rolling, and we'll check in with Todd Treonze. Here he is.
Hey Dave, Todd Treonze, Hook Fishing Gear. After being on the road for almost 10 days and no fishing, finally got back on the water this week, and a couple things to share with the listeners. So tried a couple different areas this week, mostly focusing on kind of out front, out of the bay. I know a lot of guys are doing really good up the bay, so share a little bit of a different report. What I'm starting to find out front, fluke are moving in. Definitely finding some of those in the shallower water. Bouncing high-low with bucktails and game on Duratec jerk baits as a teaser. And then also tog, still tog out there, plenty of tog in the structure. And then started to switch gear a little bit to stripers this week, trying to work some of the summer places I usually fish, and found fish up to the 20-pound class, a little bit deeper, and some blitzes out there as well. Seems like a lot of schoolies are focused on almost like silver sides, little micro bait, but it was good to find that action as well. So that's all for this week. Hope everybody has a great week on the water, and stay hooked out there.
Now we'll check in with Jeff Sullivan.
What's up, Dave? What's going on, everybody? Checking back in this week. Well, my striper season has ramped up dramatically, starting as of the last 2 days. Yesterday, I got a chance to go out with a couple of good friends of mine, and man, it was non-stop action on the surface for probably 10 to 11 hours. It was incredible. It's great to see a lot of those fish around. It's good to see birds. It's good to see life. Quality fish of various sizes, you know, anything from schoolie size up to 40 pounds. You know, it's just incredible to see that action all day. You know, because the last couple years you've been seeing, you know, action on top and then it will die right down, and then action on top, it'll die right down. This was consistent all the way through. You know, your 7-inch docks were working, your 9-inch docks were working, metal lips were working, no live bait needed shads, 8 and 9-inch were working, GT eels were working. Yesterday you would throw the refrigerator at them, they would eat it. But it's awesome. Days like that are stuff you write about. But man, it's just incredible to see life around of that quality for that length of time on the surface is just awesome. The tog bite has been very good. We actually got a tog on a flutter spoon yesterday, Dave, believe it or not. 75 feet of water, hammered the flutter spoon. I guess when, you know, you got pandemonium going on, fires everything up from top to bottom down. So, you know, hey, that's a first. I don't think I've ever seen a tog caught on a flutter spoon, but yeah, the fluke game, the fluke bite is good. You just have to look around. There's a lot of shorts, but if you know the right places and put the time in, you will catch some keepers. We got some keepers yesterday. 90 feet, 85 to 90 feet is like the, you know, the bread and butter right now. You know, bucktailing, just use the bucktails, hop it along the bottom. We weren't using bait, we were using gulp, so we were waiting for the tide to turn to move to a different spot to see if there's any more quality sized fluke. But yeah, we got some fluke, a lot of bass, more bluefish are making their way into the Narragansett Bay. So make sure your leaders are good and your soft plastics are stocked up, because those bluefish are angry and these fish are frothing to destroy your soft plastics, just to let you know. Sea bass, we got a lot of nice sea bass yesterday as well. Probably, I think we were in 65 feet of water, 65, 70, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Dave, it's been crazy. I think I maybe slept for like 4 hours. So, you know, I'm going to try to get some sleep here soon and then get back at it again. But, you know, it's been on. This is probably one of the best spring runs, and we've had some good spring runs. This is probably one of the best spring runs I've seen in a long, long time. So hopefully it stays put. Hopefully we keep getting these fish coming in happy and hungry, and I'll check back in with you guys next week. All right, later.
Now we'll head down to Point Judith and we'll check in with Captain John Lee from JL Charters.
Hey, it's John Lee, Point Judith, Rhode Island. Fishing's been pretty good this week. That squid bite is still kind of on fire. I'm surprised this lasts this long. A lot of boats are showing up. If it's a nice night, there's a couple of hundred boats out. Over the weekend, we got out fluking. There was a lot of boats fluke fishing around the island. The bite got real tough. After the weekend on Tuesday, Wednesday, we had some pretty good fluke trips fishing in like 75 feet. Those fish seem to be keyed in on sand eels. We're getting them with both dead sticks and with jigs and gulp. Some nice jumbos. Again, the bite is definitely not consistent. You got to put some time in to get your fish, but we're ending with larges and jumbos. Having a lot of fun, but it's work. It's not a dynamite bite. You got to sit with it. Take care. See you next.
Now, as John was talking about, we've seen a lot of fluke activity out around Block Island and in along the South County shoreline as well. We're seeing decent numbers of squid around. They're kind of dwindling a little bit, but that's keeping those fluke well fed. There's a lot of other bait fish around. Talked to Larry Thompson, who's a friend of the report and a friend of mine, and he said it's been a really good week out and around Quaney Breachway. He's been fishing from the boat. He's said he's caught pretty much every species you can catch. The only one that he hasn't caught this week is a bluefish, but he had bluefish last week. But he's had sea robins, he's had striped bass, he's had scup, he's had black sea bass, and he said the bite's been great. He's been getting them on a variety of methods, and just sounds like things are firing on all cylinders in that region. And that's what I have for you guys at Rhode Island this week. crossing over into Connecticut, just like everywhere else, everybody is striper crazy right now in Connecticut. And the bite has expanded to include pretty much the entire shoreline of Connecticut at this point. A lot of big fish being caught in Connecticut waters, which is it's not that unusual. We see a lot of big fish come out of the Sound. So one of the biggest fish I saw this week was actually taken by Matt Stone. This fish looked to be well over 50 pounds and really just impressive specimen. 48 inches and got a waistline like a human. Look at this thing. So let's check in with him. Here's Matt Stone from Black Hall Outfitters.
What's up, everyone? Matt here from Black Hall Outfitters in Westbrook with this week's fishing report. A lot of spots are blowing up in kind of a variety of different types of water for stripers. If you got a really good bite going, still going out on those reefs and rips, there's not necessarily specific spots. I think it's more a matter of traveling, trying to mark some fish and setting yourself up for a nice drift with spoons or jigs or something along those lines. Inshore, there are bigger fish moving in. It feels like every tide. We just had the moon, the new moon in May, so that's always a good one. Hopefully move some fish around, maybe move some bunker in a little tighter to the central sound. We haven't heard a ton of reports of bunker locally, so kind of that's our last kind of missing ingredient, I guess you could say, for that inshore bite to really fire up. Otherwise, I'm hearing fluke reports that are scattered. It seems like guys are kind of getting them at a variety of depths. I've heard 40, I've heard 80. So probably pick your spot and, be willing to change spots for those guys. The sea bass spots are firing up, kind of all the local areas that people typically fish. Our water is still a little colder than it normally is heading into June. These nor'easters, kind of those sustained north winds and stuff like that are going to push some colder water around. So hopefully we get more consistent warmth and we see that water temperature tick up and over the 60-degree mark, because I think that's really going to be what sets off all the fishing, ground fishing and stripers and blues. So until then, keep on fishing. There's a lot of great fish out there, a lot of different size fish, plenty over 40 inches now available locally. So get out there and have some fun.
Now let's check in with Captain Mike Roy from Real Cast Charters.
Hey everybody, for this week's fishing report, striper bite is improving. It's good in terms of quality fish and quantity of fish. For bait, we're seeing butterfish. Most of the reefs throughout Long Island Sound have butterfish, and also some adult bunker are starting to trickle in. So look for those bunker schools in the mouths of the rivers. Lures are catching really well right now. One of the popular lures is that Nichols Ben Parker flutter spoon. That's doing really well, especially in the western part of the state. Also, this time of year, always a good time to cast 7 and 9 inch sluggos. That's working really well. A little bit of top water, not a ton yet. I expect that bite to improve over the next couple weeks as more and more migratory fish show up and more bait shows up. But if you're looking to get out and fish with us, I'd recommend doing that. Fishing is very good. Weather is finally starting to settle down. It seems like it's starting to warm up. We're getting we're seeing some calmer weather patterns, which should start to set up for some really good fishing. Water clarity is starting to improve as well. So that's it. Good spring run fishing. Good luck.
Talked to Rowan this morning. He's up in Vermont doing some recon work for future fishing adventures. So he didn't have time to shoot a report, but it's probably for the best anyway. We had tons of rain this week. The river's going to be running high, which is going to disturb some of these fisheries that he cashes in on. The one thing I will say about the river is I have still been hearing about guys getting striped bass on bait, sea worms and whatnot. So that bite is still firing even though we've got high dirty water. And as the river recedes over the next several days, things should return to normal for all the other fisheries that you guys like to enjoy along the river. Heading west from there, weak fish action has continued to hold its own from the Connecticut River all the way out to Norwalk. It seems like it's been very kayak heavy. A lot of kayak guys cashing in on it. The night bite's been good, but guys are getting fish in the daytime as well. Smaller, bright colored lures, especially pink or purple or white, are getting it done. And it hasn't been like giant fish, but weak fish are cool, and guys are getting them. And then further west, the striped bass bite has just been incredible. There's been a lot of big fish out in the Western Sound. We're seeing more bunker coming in now. Max sent me a whole camera roll of photos of big fish this week. I'll put a couple of them up right here. And while we're on that subject, let's check in with the man himself. Here's Max Finch from Fisherman's World. And that's what happened.
Hey everyone, Max here from Fisherman's World with another local fishing report. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend and the fishing is excellent. We've seen a lot of stripers, porgies, fluke, sea bass, mackerel, and weak fish this past week. The bass front, our deep water reefs are definitely the place you want to be. 11B, Can 13, the OB buoy, 28C. The fish are starting to flood into the island, so guys plugging around, you know, blind casting structure, points around the island, are finding some slot fish to some over slot fish, but the bigger fish are definitely concentrated on our reefs. So trolling mojos, umbrella rigs, bunker spoons, deep divers, and then your diamond jigs, flutter spoons, big docks. We've been selling tons of flutter spoons right now. They are catching a lot of big fish. We've seen a lot of fish to like 25 to 35 pounds. On the fluke front, there's some fish on our side like 26, 24. You really got to weed through a lot of shorts, but if you do catch a keeper, mark the spot and keep hammering it. Other than that, shooting across the Eaton's Neck, Smithtown Bay, and Port Jeff is your best bet. Spearing, squid, and smelt all work great, and don't forget to bring a bunch of gulp. Porgies are starting to come on our side. The other side's still a lot better. The water's a little warmer over there, so Oyster Bay and Huntington Bay is the place to be. Always bring clam chums. That's the best. You'll bring the fish to your boat. There's a bunch of mackerel around. You can find them in our harbor, south side of the islands, and Green's Ledge. We are loaded up on Scotty rigs, sabiki rigs, and you can also use small epoxies and diamond jigs. Sea bass, they're more concentrated in the like 50 to 80 foot wrecks. So south of Kokeeny, south of Middle Passage, that's the place to be. They'll take butterfly jigs, diamond jigs, bucktails tipped with gulp. And moving into the weekend, there's gonna be a lot of people out, so don't be afraid to like break off from the crowds and try to find your own fish. Thanks and good luck.
For you guys and the reports this week, hope it's going to inspire you to get out there. I mean, these water temps staying low is only going to mean great things as we move into June, especially for the striped bass guys. The striper bites should just hang on and look great through these next couple of weeks, and I mean really all the way through June. So this is really, I'm really excited for June. Great month to striper fish, but with these lower water temps, I'm extra excited. If you're not a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, I highly recommend you head over to our website. That's thefisherman.com. We cover all the fishing from Delaware to Maine. We cover all angling disciplines, whether you're offshore, inshore, surf, paddleboard, kayak, freshwater only, we got it all. We travel outside the region, and we do tackle making. We do all kinds of stuff. It's $31.95 for the year. You're going to get 12 paper magazines sent to your house, 26 digital editions sent to your email, and you're going to get digital access to all the back issues plus our other 2 editions. So if you subscribe to the New England edition, which is the one that I run, you're going to get digital access to the Long Island Metro and the New Jersey, Delaware. So you're going to be able to check all the reports, keep tabs on all the fish migrations, and you're going to learn, you know, you're going to learn so much. It's just so much information in this magazine. So check out the website, thefisherman.com. If you're not interested after that, which would be tough to believe, at the very least, give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube and hit that little bell thing right there so you get a notification every time we post something new. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.